My friend's 50-year-old mother seeks to satisfy her yearnings, a gripping tale of betrayal. Welcome back to Flair Stories, where the most tantalizing tales await you. Make sure you subscribe, or you might miss out on the gripping tales we have in store for you. My name is Ethan. At 25, I find myself entrenched in the world of software development, toiling away at a small tech company just beyond the city's grasp. My bond with Lucas began in college, and through the passage of time, we have clung to that connection, navigating the complexities of life side by side. Today's tale unfolds an unforeseen day that irrevocably altered the course of my life and that of his family. For years, Lucas and I have shared a bond, yet an undeniable pull towards his mother, Rebecca, has lingered in the shadows of our friendship. Her warmth and energy radiate in a way that is utterly mesmerizing. Each visit drew me into deep conversations with her, often eclipsing the moments I shared with Lucas. She carries a lightness that draws me in, her laughter echoing like a melody to my ears. And the truth is, her beauty captivates me in ways I can't fully express. Her presence was undeniably captivating, pulling me in with an intensity I couldn't resist. On a rare day of freedom, I resolved to catch Lucas off guard with an unexpected visit. I barely gave it a second thought. I snatched my keys and sped off, the urgency of the moment leaving no room for a call. I envisioned a lively, unexpected reunion. As I stepped through the threshold, an unsettling silence enveloped the air. Lucas was absent, yet Rebecca stood before me, her eyes widening in shock at my unexpected arrival. Her smile was inviting, yet there was an undercurrent of something unspoken as she beckoned me in. Laughter dancing in the air like a fragile promise. "Well, this is a surprise," she said, her smile revealing a mix of intrigue and uncertainty. "Lucas failed to mention your arrival." I forced a smile, my fingers nervously tracing the back of my neck. "Less than text. I believed I could catch him off guard," I responded. She let out a sharp laugh, stepping aside with a flicker of something unspoken in her eyes. "He may not be here right now, but you're more than welcome to wait until he returns." In that moment, a torrential rainstorm unleashed its fury, transforming the world outside into a chaotic deluge, rendering any attempt to escape nearly impossible. Rebecca's gaze darted to the window, her eyebrow arching in silent question before she turned back to me, a storm of unspoken thoughts swirling in her eyes. "You're absolutely trapped here in this storm," she declared, her smile growing ever more sinister. "It seems you'll be here for a while longer than expected." I nodded, a flicker of satisfaction igniting within me at the chance to linger a little longer. She guided me into the living room, a palpable tension hanging in the air as we took our seats. The relentless patter of the rain enveloped us, casting a heavy, personal shroud over our conversation, each word hanging in the air, thick with unspoken emotions. With each passing moment, her presence became increasingly impossible to ignore, stirring something deep within me. Rebecca handed me a steaming cup of tea while the rain pounded relentlessly against the windows, each drop echoing the tension in the air. As we sat in the dimly lit living room, the air thick with unspoken thoughts, our conversation drifted through the complexities of work and life, inevitably landing on the enigmatic figure of Lucas. Her laughter, a delicate whisper, wrapped around me like a warm moment together, stirring a longing deep within. Every so often, our eyes would collide, holding for a heartbeat longer than necessary, igniting that undeniable spark between us. As we spoke, she leaned back in her chair, a subtle yet deliberate crossing of her legs that hinted at an unspoken tension in the air. Less than text, her posture exuded a captivating blend of grace and confidence that drew my attention irresistibly. At 50, she stood there, a paradox of age and youth, exuding an aura that defied the passage of time. Her energy crackled in the air, her smile radiated a vibrant warmth, and I was utterly entranced. Unable to look away, I attempted to conceal my feelings, but I sensed she caught on, her eyes sparkling with a mischievous delight every time our gazes met. "So, Ethan," she said, her playful smirk cutting through the silence, "you seem awfully quiet tonight. Is there something weighing heavily on your thoughts?" Startled, I faltered, a nervous laugh escaping my lips. I never imagined I would find myself in this situation. Only the two of us, caught in this moment, where everything else fades away. She tilted her head, her gaze smoldering with warmth and playful challenge. Well, it's a delightful surprise, she whispered, her voice trembling with unspoken emotions. Lucas rarely finds solace in the familiar comforts of home these days. And the presence of company feels like a much-needed reprieve. Her words dripped with a casual facade. Yet the warmth in her tone ignited a fire within me, quickening my pulse with an intensity I couldn't ignore. As we delved deeper into our discussion, the atmosphere shifted, and the words exchanged grew increasingly personal. She recounted tales from her youth, the dreams that once ignited her spirit, and the profound transformations her life had undergone through the years. I was utterly captivated, clinging to each word as if my very existence depended on it. As the hours dragged on, the storm outside raged with increasing ferocity. Relentless and unforgiving, Rebecca's eyes flickered to the clock, then returned to me, her smile tinged with an unsettling mix of contemplation and anticipation. "It seems the storm will linger," she said, her voice heavy with uncertainty. "The rain is pouring down with relentless fury outside." I nodded, my gaze drawn to the relentless downpour outside the window. "I don't think I can make it home tonight." She nodded, her voice barely above a whisper, laden with unspoken emotions. "You're more than welcome to stay here, if that's what you truly yearning. Lucas's room lies just down the hall, a mere breath away, shrouded in an unsettling silence that thickens the air." I smiled, a mix of gratitude and an electrifying thrill coursing through me. "Thank you, Rebecca. Your support would mean the world to me." She vanished for a heartbeat, only to re-emerge, her arms laden with extra blankets, which she laid down on the couch beside me with a quiet urgency. As our hands barely touched while she passed them to me, an electric warmth coursed through my veins, compelling me to meet her gaze. She held my gaze, her expression a delicate blend of warmth and allure. And in that fleeting moment, the world around us vanished into oblivion. She leaned in closer, her voice barely above a whisper. "I've always found you to be a charming young man. Now that you're here, it's been truly wonderful to share this moment. Just the two of us." My heart pounded fiercely. "Less than text. I share your sentiments, Rebecca," I responded, my voice heavy with unspoken emotions. The atmosphere crackled with the weight of unexpressed emotions. Her gaze locked onto mine, a silent plea hanging in the air. And then, with a deliberate slowness, she inched closer. The heat of her presence enveloped me, the intoxicating aroma of her perfume lingering in the air, creating an electric tension that crackled between us. In that instant, I realized this was a memory that would haunt me forever. She held my gaze a moment longer, and in that fleeting instant, the warmth in her eyes ignited a storm of emotions within me. Then, without breaking eye contact, she reached over and brushed a loose strand of hair from my forehead, her fingers lingering with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. My breath hitched as her presence ignited a surge of electricity within me, and I found myself instinctively leaning into her hand, drawn by an undeniable force. "Ethan," she breathed, her voice barely above a whisper, laden with unspoken longing. "You're truly remarkable." The words hung heavily in the air, and in that charged moment, I could no longer restrain myself. As I edged nearer, my fingers entwined with hers, a spark igniting between us. Her skin radiated warmth, a softness that lingered in the air, and she remained, refusing to pull away. Instead, she leaned in, her lips parting just enough to create an undeniable allure, beckoning me to draw nearer. My heart pounded in my shoulder as I leaned in, my lips hovering just above hers, a fragile moment hanging in the air, filled with uncertainty. She responded, her moment of closeness igniting a fire within me, her hand lingering on my cheek with a softness that sent shivers down my spine. We lingered in silence, and when our gazes locked once more, an undeniable certainty surged between us. I drew her in, my arm encircling her as our moment of closeness deepened, igniting a fervor that had been simmering throughout the night. She breathed a soft sigh against my lips, her fingers threading through the hair at the nape of my neck, drawing me closer as if we had both been yearning for this moment. Her presence ignited a fire within me, and I found myself unable to resist the urge to let my fingers glide along the curve of her waist, savoring the heat radiating from her skin. With deliberate slowness, she withdrew, her eyes shimmering with a mischievous spark. "You know," she whispered, her voice trembling with uncertainty. "I never thought this would happen. But now, well, I guess we both understand the path that lies ahead." I forced a smile and nodded, my heart racing beneath the surface. "I'm relieved it is." The relentless rain battered against the windows. Yet within these walls, an unsettling warmth enveloped the air. Thick with unspoken tension, she sank into the couch, drawing me in with an irresistible pull. And I enveloped her in my arms, holding her tightly, as if the world outside had vanished. Her fingers danced along my back, each gentle presence igniting a fire that crackled with unspoken yearning between us. Our lips collided once more, this time with an intensity that ignited a fire within. Her hands roamed with a fervor, her warmth enveloping me, as if she had been yearning for this moment just as desperately as I had. Her fingers glided down my arms, a feather-light gentle presence that sent shivers racing through me, and I found myself unable to suppress the smile that blossomed against her lips. She gazed at me, her eyes radiating warmth, her fingers pressing against my shoulder. Sensing the frantic rhythm of my heart beneath her delicate presence, I leaned down, pressing my lips to her neck, allowing the moment to stretch as I sensed her shiver in response to my presence. Every second stretched into eternity, and I surrendered to the intoxicating warmth of her moment together, our hearts pounding in unison as the storm raged outside. She let out a soft sigh, her body arching just enough for my hand to discover the enticing curve of her waist. A flawless match beneath my fingertips. Spurred on by her reaction, I allowed my hand to glide deliberately, following the curve of her back, savoring the heat that seeped through the delicate fabric of her sweater. She released a soft murmur, her hand settling on my shoulder, drawing me nearer, her warmth wrapping around me like a spell, and the sensation was utterly captivating. I found myself drawn in, my lips grazing the delicate curve of her neck, relishing the warmth of her skin as she trembled, her head tilting invitingly to beckon me closer. I leaned in closer, feeling the heat between us rise. As her breath quickened in anticipation, my fingers inched toward the fabric of her sweater, each movement charged with a palpable tension. The sensation of her softness enveloped me, igniting a surge of energy within, stirring something deep and profound. The urge to delve deeper into her essence became unbearable. Our eyes locked, and an unspoken tension crackled in the air, a profound understanding passing between us that felt almost electric. I leaned in once more, our lips crashing together with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine, each heartbeat echoing the urgency of the moment. My hand found her hip, and I sensed her pulse racing beneath my fingertips. She melted into me, her body fitting perfectly against mine as I enveloped her in my moment together. Every presence now ignited a deeper connection, a palpable intensity that lingered in the air. She gazed at me, her eyes ablaze with a torrent of emotions we struggled to articulate. Then, with a subtle yet captivating smile, she leaned back into the couch, drawing my hand to her shoulder, her fingers intertwining with mine in a delicate yet charged moment. I allowed my other hand to glide down her leg, the heat radiating beneath my palm as I caressed her thigh with a gentle presence. The air crackled with an intensity that was impossible to ignore, our kisses lingering as if time itself had paused. Each moment stretched, drawing us deeper into a world where nothing else existed but the electric sensation of her presence enveloping me. As we separated, gasping for air and disoriented, the world beyond had shifted dramatically. The rain lashed down, enveloping us in a heavy silence that drew us deeper into our own isolated realm. I could see the flush of her cheeks, the way her lips shimmered from our kisses, igniting an intense fire of longing deep within me. A sensation unlike any other surged through me, a raw connection that pulled me toward her, compelling me to delve deeper into the unknown. "Perhaps we should find a more personal setting," she proposed, her voice a sultry whisper, tinged with playful intrigue. I could only nod, a surge of exhilaration coursing through me as she guided me down the shadowy hallway toward her bedroom. The door creaked open, unveiling a space that pulsed with an unsettling intimacy, shadows dancing in the flickering light of a solitary lamp. The room was elegantly adorned, yet it was her presence that ignited an undeniable spark within its walls. She pivoted to confront me, her eyes unwavering and electrified. The atmosphere around us heavy with expectation as the door sealed shut behind us. The sound pierced through the silence, amplifying the weight of the moment. I moved in, irresistibly pulled toward her, as if the very essence of her being ignited a fire within me. My heart pounded violently as she drew closer, each step amplifying the weight of the moment. I reached for her hand, our fingers weaving together, the heat of her skin igniting a surge of electricity within me. With a deliberate tug, I drew her nearer, my other hand grazing her waist, the warmth of her body igniting a fire within me. She gazed up at me, her eyes alight with a tantalizing blend of yearning and mischief. And in that moment, my resolve crumbled as I leaned down, sealing our connection with another moment of closeness. The moment of closeness intensified, a desperate urgency igniting as I drew her closer, our bodies melding together in a perfect, electric moment together. Her warmth enveloped me, each moment of closeness igniting a storm of electric waves coursing through my veins. Her hands glided over my arms, mapping the contours of my muscles before weaving into my hair, drawing me nearer and compelling me to delve deeper. As I pulled away from the moment of closeness, my gaze locked onto hers, and in that moment, I could feel the intensity and fervor that had sparked between us. Mirrored in her eyes, I pressed my forehead against hers, the world around us fading away, a rush of exhilaration coursing through me, mingling with a deep sense of vulnerability. "Do you truly believe this is the right choice?" I whispered, my voice trembling, barely escaping my lips. Her response was a gentle smile, yet it held a weight that sent a shiver down my spine as her gaze pierced through to mine. "I've never been more certain of anything," she replied, her voice unwavering yet charged with an undeniable intensity. With that affirmation, I leaned down once more, sealing my lips against hers, the world around us fading into a distant echo. This time, I hesitated, my heart racing as I carefully led her onto the resting place. The mattress beckoned with its softness, and as she surrendered to its moment together, I loomed above her, the tension crackling in the air like a storm about to break. I lingered, allowing my lips to glide along her neck, kissing gently along her collarbone, relishing each heartbeat as I sensed her body tremble under my gentle presence. Her fingers glided over my back, a silent command that propelled me forward as I traced her form. Relishing each gasp, each sigh that slipped from her lips, I halted, my gaze fixed on her, the weight of the moment hanging heavily in the air. Less than text, her gaze pierced through me, a potent mix of yearning and faith that left me utterly breathless. I leaned in closer, our bodies intertwining with an electric intensity as I pressed against her. My hand grazed her thigh, a gentle yet commanding presence that ignited a tremor within us both. As the relentless rain pounded against the window, I became utterly consumed by her presence, the chaos of the world outside dissolving into nothingness. I surged forward, driven by the electric bond between us, each moment of closeness, each presence, delving into the profound depths of our longings. Our bodies intertwined, caught in the fervent dance of yearning, and an overwhelming wave of satisfaction surged through me as every heartbeat drew us deeper into each other's moment together. The night loomed, heavy with hushed laughter and sharp intakes of breath as we surrendered entirely to one another. The lines of our friendship faded, giving way to an intense connection, raw and breathtaking. Never in my wildest dreams did I foresee a night unraveling in such a way. Every heartbeat drew us nearer, enveloping us in a tempest of closeness. As fatigue settled heavily upon me, I found myself lying beside her, my arm instinctively wrapping around her shoulders in a desperate bid for protection. We were both breathless, our gasps intertwining as we absorbed the intensity of what had just transpired between us. Her fingers danced across my shoulder, igniting a fire within me. I leaned down, pressing my lips to her forehead, cherishing the intoxicating warmth of her body pressed against mine. Tonight was nothing short of extraordinary, I whispered, my heart pounding with a whirlwind of emotions I struggled to define. She turned toward me, her lips curving into a delicate smile that held a world of unspoken emotions. "It truly was," she responded, her eyes glinting with a mix of satisfaction and a tantalizing hint of mischief. "Perhaps I could learn to moment together this new reality." As we surrendered to the moment together of sleep, the rain outside softened to a whisper. Yet within us, a storm of emotions raged on, forever altering the fabric of our souls after this unforeseen night of fervor. In that moment, a realization washed over me. This was merely the dawn of an extraordinary journey. A tale intricately stitched with the raw intensity of longing, the complexities of friendship, and the exhilarating spark of newfound love. We lay entwined in each other's arms, the air thick with unspoken words, the remnants of our deep emotion igniting a fire that refused to fade. The world outside began to piece itself back together, but the echoes of what had transpired lingered in the air, heavy and unyielding. The rain had eased, yet the rhythmic patter against the window held an unsettling tension, contrasting sharply with our hushed whispers and fragile laughter, as if the storm outside mirrored the turmoil brewing within us. Just as I was teetering on the edge of slumber, the piercing ring of the doorbell shattered the stillness, yanking me back to reality. I stood paralyzed, my heart pounding violently as I stole a glance at her. A flicker of shock and dread ignited in her gaze. The weight of the moment bore down upon us, shattering any illusion of safety. Her son, my dear friend, had returned home. Could that be him? She started, her voice trembling, barely breaking the silence. Yeah, it's him, I replied, my heart pounding in my shoulder. We hurriedly attempted to compose ourselves, yet the desperate flurry of sheets and clothing only deepened the turmoil around us. The doorbell rang once more, its urgency slicing through the silence, sending my heart racing. Quick, hide, she urged, her eyes wide with a frantic urgency that pierced the air. I scanned the room, my heart racing as I frantically sought an escape. In a heartbeat, I plunged into the closet, my body flattening against the wall. Heart racing with dread, my heart thundered in my ears. I clutched my breath, every nerve on edge as I strained to catch the faintest sound from beyond the bedroom door. Mom, are you there? Less than text, I heard my friend call out, his voice reverberating ominously through the house, filling the air with an unsettling weight. Less than text, I knew I would discover you in this place, he whispered, his voice thick with unspoken emotions. As she opened the door to the living room, a palpable shift occurred within her. The flustered uncertainty melted away, replaced by a steely composure that hinted at deeper struggles beneath the surface. Yes, I'm here, she replied, her voice unwavering, even as turmoil raged within her heart. I caught a glimpse of her through the narrow crack of the closet door. Poised and unwavering, her face a mask of inscrutable calm. In that charged moment, her poise was nothing short of captivating. Did you get caught in the storm? He asked, stepping inside, oblivious to the charged atmosphere that enveloped the house. I held my breath, yearning to glimpse his expression, questioning how deeply he understood the weight of the moment. Just a little shower, she replied, her voice trembling slightly, a flicker of unease betraying her calm facade. But I'm fine. How was your day? Really? It was quite good. I was really hoping we could spend some time together. I brought some snacks from the store, he said, a hint of excitement lacing his voice. A smirk tugged at my lips, a stark juxtaposition to the chaos that had just unfolded, as his words dripped with an unsettling normalcy. Of course. Just give me a moment, she said, her gaze flickering toward the bedroom door, as if she could feel my presence lurking in the shadows. I clutched my shoulder, heart racing, as I braced myself for the unfolding chaos. Would she dare to invite him in? Would he perceive the lurking unease? All right, I'll be right there, she said, her voice barely above a whisper as she turned away from the door. Her footsteps heavy with uncertainty as she moved back toward me. I could see the fire in her eyes, a fierce determination that refused to let this moment escape her grasp. Hurry, get dressed, she urged, her voice laced with urgency, her heart pounding in sync with mine. I hurriedly put on my clothes, desperately attempting to silence the storm of frantic thoughts raging in my mind. The faint sounds of my friend shifting in the living room pierced the silence, the unsettling rustle of bags echoing as he desperately searched through them. Is it possible that he has any idea? I whispered, my voice trembling as panic seeped in. No, he can't, she replied, biting her lip, her face a canvas of conflicting emotions, excitement intertwined with fear. Simply behave as if everything is fine. We will find a way. No matter what it takes. With a final, lingering look exchanged between us, we steeled ourselves for the harsh return to reality. I emerged from the shadows of the closet, my heart racing wildly, and entered the living room just as my friend pivoted toward us. A broad grin stretching across his face. At last, you've arrived. It felt as though you were deliberately evading me, and the uncertainty was becoming unbearable. He laughed, utterly unaware of the electric tension that crackled around him. As she replied, her voice steady, a fleeting glance passed between us, laden with unspoken weight and intensity. As the evening unfolded, laughter echoed through the room, a fragile veil over the simmering tension and the weight of unspoken words that hung in the air between us. My heart pounded fiercely, the haunting echo of our fervent connection lingering in the shadows of my thoughts. In that fragile moment, teetering on the edge of friendship and something deeper, enveloped by the intoxicating warmth of our connection and the electric thrill of recent events, I grasped one undeniable truth. This marked the inception of a tangled, breathtaking tale that neither of us could have foreseen.